Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Monday, February 3rd, 2020.
Good morning, President James. The roll call this morning, Commissioners James, Villegas, Garcia, Davis, and Caloza are present. We do have a quorum. May we please start with Bureau introductions, beginning with the Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Bureau of Engineering, Wesley Tanagiri.
Good morning, Brett McReynolds, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Karen Bowie, Street Service Investigation and Enforcement.
Good morning, Evelinda Peña, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Farhana Muhammad, good morning, LA Sanitation and Environment.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
And TJ Knight, Assistant Executive Officer. We do not have any speaker cards this morning under public comment. We have no speaker cards under Neighborhood Council commentary, and no speaker cards on any of our items at this point.
Okay, we'll close general public comment as well as the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Agenda item number 6 is an authority for expenditure. California State University, Dominguez Hills Contract Administration and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $9,775. The new adjusted amount is $27,325 to increase the original encumbrance for fiscal year 1920 to pay for safety training provided by Cal State Dominguez Hills in order to comply with Occupation Safety and Health Administration, that's OSHA, requirements. Mr. Smith.
Good morning, Chris Smith, Bureau of Contract Administration. There should be a correction on the agenda. The total amount is $29,325.
$29,325. Got it.
Okay. As you read, Mr. President, we are asking for an authority for expenditure to provide some Cal OSHA training to our supervisory staff. Little background. Last year in February, we received a cease and desist letter from the MCIA, the Municipal Construction Inspectors Association, alleging that the Bureau wasn't complying with a condition of the MOU that required us to give our employees 10-hour OSHA training. The main contention of the issue was that we weren't providing that training with certified trainers. In order for our employees to be certified, they have to go through a course regiment at Cal State Dominguez. Happens to be one place that offers it. And the Bureau subsequently enrolled all of our supervisors in the first 2 courses of that OSHA certification training. The training essentially trains them how to be trainers. Subsequent to that, in December 2019, when the new MOU 5 was ratified, the language was further clarified and they were a bit more specific as to what qualifications they wanted. The previous training only certified them as OSHA, which would be federal OSHA. The new requirement was Cal OSHA, which is state specific. In order for our employees to comply with that requirement, we have to take one more course for an additional $9,775, which raised the total amount over $20,000. So we have to come to you for an authorization, and that's what I'm here for this morning. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for the explanation. Any questions? Commissioner Davis has made a motion. That's for the amended amount on the aggregate. Okay, so that's an a motion for the amended amount by Commissioner Davis, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any issue sending 5 forthwith? We'll send number 5 forthwith. I'm sorry, that was number 6. So that's on number 6, so we'll send number 6 forthwith. That takes us to number 5, Council District 14, Contract Acceptance, US 101 Freeway at Los Angeles Street, Main Street, Sidewalk Art Improvement. It's a federal project. The ID number is Q101-132. Recommending that the board accept the contract. Mr. McReynolds on number 5.
Good morning, President James, Commissioners, and colleagues. Brett McReynolds, Bureau of Contract Administration. This is an acceptance request for the project known as US 101 Freeway at Los Angeles Street and Main Street Sidewalk Art Improvement in Council District 14. The contract was awarded by your board on April 4th, 2011 in the amount of $1,586,261 to Acon Development. The project installed the overhang art installation that goes over the freeway there at LA and Maine and in the sidewalk area. And the project was awarded with a contingency for a total of $1,744,887. On December 24, 2015, Your board approved an increase in the project's contingency, bringing the total to $1,978,440. The project was completed with 14 change orders, and these change orders were issued, bringing the total cost of the project to $1,978,200, which is 24.71% above the original award amount and 0.01 below the authorized budget. The change orders were to comply with Caltrans requirements such as additional fencing and as well as new curb ramps and some sidewalk repairs at those locations. Funding was through the Transportation Grant Fund. Work was completed on August 5th, 2016, and a final release of disputed funds was processed July 2019 after the BCA received labor information from the contractor. The contractor has complied with all other EEO and labor compliance requirements, and there are no current or disputed funds remaining on the job, nor are there claims. So we're requesting acceptance.
Any questions on number 5? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 5.
Thank you.
Seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Thank you, sir. Any issue sending number 5 forthwith? We will send number 5 forthwith. Agenda item number 1, Bureau of Contract Administration, Memorandum of Understanding, the Los Angeles World Airports and the Bureau of Contract Administration for contract compliance services, recommending that the board authorize the Bureau of Contract Administration to execute the Memorandum of Understanding between Los Angeles World Airports and the Bureau of Contract Administration. Mr. Rodriguez on number 1.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Rodriguez, and I'm representing the Bureau of Contract Administration. We're here requesting authorization from the board to enter into a new Memorandum of Understanding with Los Angeles World Airports. The Bureau of Contract Administration is the designated administrative agency for the living wage, worker retention, equal benefits, affirmative action, equal employment, and non-discrimination ordinances. We've been providing services to LAWA since 2011. This will be our 3rd MOU. And as the administrative agency for those ordinances, they request our services for the next 3 fiscal years. And in exchange, they're going to fully fund 3 positions. So we're here requesting authorization for this Memorandum of Understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Any questions on number 1 regarding what we're doing here? I don't either. Is this your first time before the board?
Yes.
Well, congratulations, sir, and welcome to the Board of Public Works.
Thank you.
Nice job. We'll start with Commissioner Caloza.
Thank you, President James. I think this is great that they're going to renew your MOU. I think BCA adds an extreme benefit to any projects, especially big ones that are happening at the airports. Will you guys be providing services across their 3 major projects, or is it just one in particular?
So the ordinances that our section, specifically the Certification, Outreach, Regulations, and Enforcement section, enforces are service and public lease and public license. So most likely our services will extend to subcontractors or whoever it is that takes over the spaces that are being built by the contractors.
Okay, but it's not like specific to like the LAMP versus the Conrac, or?
Yes, it does somewhat affect it. For example, rental car companies are subject to living wage ordinance, non-discrimination, and those other ordinances. So we will be providing services on that end.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 1. Seconded by Commissioner Villegas, Caloza, and Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any issue sending number 1 forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith. I've got a couple of journals for Monday, January 27th, 2020, our regular meeting as well as supplemental. Is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the meeting of Monday, January 27th, 2020 by Commissioner Garcia? Any objection? Without objection, those meeting minutes will be approved. Agenda item number 4, Council District number 5, revocable permit encroachment in the public right-of-way, Encino Commons Business Improvement District, decorative poles and flower baskets along Ventura Boulevard between Balboa Boulevard and White Oak Avenue in Encino. Recommending that the board first authorize, this is Council District 5 if I didn't say that already, recommend that the board authorize the Office of Community Beautification to grant revocable permission to encroach within the public right-of-way, subject to the listed conditions, to the Encino Commons Business Improvement District. The encroachment is installation of the remaining 28 decorative poles with hanging flower baskets along Ventura Boulevard between Balboa Boulevard and White Oak Avenue in Encino in Council District 5. Secondly, authorize the city engineer to issue a no-fee revocable permit for the work to be performed. Third, authorize the city engineer to issue a no-fee A permit for work to be performed. And fourth, authorize OCB to request the Bureau of Contract Administration to provide a no-fee inspection of the project. Mr. Valido.
Good morning, Mr. President, Commissioners, and members of the Board. Jerry Valido, Assistant Director with the Office of Community Beautification. 2 months ago, this Board approved an adopted median project that was to be installed in the community of Encino and was spearheaded by the Encino Commons Business Improvement District. It was the first of 2 phases and entailed the installation of 42 decorative poles with hanging flower baskets. The group is now ready to proceed with phase 2 of the project, which will add 28 more decorative poles and baskets along Ventura Boulevard between Balboa Boulevard and White Oak Avenue. The Encino Commons bid has partnered with J&B Landscaping to provide maintenance and watering 3 times per week, as stated in their signed maintenance agreement. Project plans were reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Engineering, and support for this project has been given by Council District 5. OCB requests that the Board adopt this project so that we may continue with the permitting phase.
Any questions on number 4? Commissioner Caloza.
Not necessarily a question. I don't know if anybody else is having this problem, but I actually don't see any of the transmittal noted in your board report.
I can submit those. The transmittals were uploaded to the website, so I don't know if that was something that was overlooked or not, but I can submit those. They were the exact same transmittals. The plans were the same plans that were done for phase 1. So technically they've already been submitted, but I can resubmit them if you need them.
Okay. Yeah, that would be helpful. So we have some additional information.
Okay.
Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you on that. Also, I expect that you might get a visit from the Hollywood Business Improvement District as well. I know that they're interested in doing some of these decorative poles and flower baskets along Cahuenga.
Oh, great. Okay.
Just an FYI.
Thank you.
On this one, I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 4, seconded by Commissioner Garcia and Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4.
Thank you, sir.
Any issue sending number 4 forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith. Agenda item number 2 is in Council District 14, revised task order solicitation number 47, IBI Group Additional Design Services, Informational Technology Agency for City Hall East and City Hall South, a systems upgrade project, recommending that the Board authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of the task, number 47 to IBI Group, increasing the budget authority from $67,491.18 to the round number of $150,000 to provide for additional design services. Mr. Drucker on number 2.
Good morning, Commissioners. Neil Drucker, Bureau of Engineering. As President James indicated, the Bureau of Engineering is recommending an increase in the TOS, the task order for solicitation number 47 to IBI Group for the City Hall East electrical upgrade project from the current approximately $67,491 to a total of $150,000, and just to let you know, that includes contingency in the amount of approximately $13,000. To briefly describe the project was initially started as 2 phases and included the CHE, the City Hall East electrical upgrade, as well as a number of other items to separate the various buildings, City Hall South, City Hall East, ultimately at that time Parker Center, soon to be the Civic Center building, basically to allow the electrical systems of each of the buildings to operate independently. Because of changes over time and the duration of time that it's taken, including the request of ITA to divide the project from 2 phases into 3 phases. We've added additional scope for IBI and therefore the recommendation. Just let the board know, we apologize that this has taken so long to get to the board. This should have been to you a long time ago. One of the staff members who was working on this report retired, and somehow the report got stuck a little bit during the transition, but we are back here today to ask for your approval of this report, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Drucker on this? Is this going to be the completion of this? Is this the last of the design services?
This is certainly our hope, yeah. We're about 85% in construction on the first phase, which is the actual server room upgrade. The other 2 portions, the other 2 phases are just about complete in design. And this report includes, like I said, both the additional cost as well as some contingency, and we believe this should do it for this project.
Okay. Then I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2, seconded by Commissioners Caloza and Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Thank you, sir. Any issue sending 2 forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. Number 3, Council District 9, Contract Amendment number 2, Angels Walk Central Avenue, recommending that the board first approve Streets LA to execute amendment number 2 to the contract with Angels Walk LA, AWLA, for additional time to complete the work by extending the contract expiration date by 1 year from December 31, 2019 until December 31, 2020 at no extra cost, and clarify that Angels Walk LA will print and distribute 100,000 guidebooks. And secondly, authorize myself or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract amendment. Mr. Munoz?
Good morning, President, Commissioners, and staff. My name is Jaime Munoz. I'm a civil engineer at Bureau of Street Services. I am here asking for an approval for amendment number 2 for the Angels Walk Central project, an additional 1-year time extension. Currently, Angels Walk has completed the design and for the stanchions and the guidebooks, and we need the 1-year time extension to complete the construction phase.
Sorry, I'm just reading this. What's the guidebook for?
It's a self-guided pamphlet that is distributed throughout the council. So there's different interests within the district that we have gathered information, historic information, monuments throughout the council district.
Okay. And is it done in more than 1 language?
Right now we have just English. The guidebooks are available online also, so it doesn't have to be a hard copy.
Does the online version provide the translated version?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. We're just extending the contract, correct? No additional funding?
Correct.
All right. Do you know if there are any plans to do the guidebook in the future in other languages?
This project has been around since 2007, 2008.
Oh.
So back then is when they
Moving
established-
right along then, aren't we?
Yeah. So this is the last one of that set that was approved back then. Maybe in the future they'll probably.
Yeah, I would
do
think,
that.
especially with Council District 9, I would think that they would expect that going forward. So, all right. Commissioner Villegas?
Hi, thank you, President. Just for a little bit of context for street services on this project, this is something that was requested by Council District 9, and so they're interested in doing these guidebooks. And I don't know if you've seen it, like in Chinatown, we have this as well, just on Broadway. It's the same process, for their districts that they would like, so that there's a historical and like a historical acknowledgement of that right-of-way. And so that's what Street Services is asking us to approve today.
Okay. Well, I'll take that as a motion from Commissioner Villegas. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Caloza.
That's okay. Thank Thank you, President James. Thanks for the additional context, Commissioner Vegas, and thanks, President James, for asking the question about translation. So this item, you're just asking us for a contract extension. But so how much do the cost of the guidebooks, how much is that?
Well, a lot of work is done to putting these guidebooks together. So most of the work is the design phase. So for the construction, I don't have the dollar amount, how much it is.
Okay, that would be helpful to confirm. If you can send that after. I didn't see it in here, but I guess it's just, it was a little bit confusing with the terminology because you keep saying construction, but it's really just to print the guidebooks, right?
Right. So as part of the construction is these stanchions that are they're like signs out on the
I see.
sidewalk.
Okay, so there is actual construction.
There is,
Okay, got it. Yeah, it would just be helpful to know what the dollar amount is for a few reasons. I think there's a few other projects where we're looking at adding some historical elements similar to this. It would be really useful to know what the cost is of this, so we can check to see that for these other projects that our costs are similar, and that we're not spending too much or too little. Because I know there's one project that I have going on. I know there's one that Commissioner Garcia has, and we're always looking at cost comparisons. And just to add another point to what President James said about the languages, I do think that's really important, especially if you're nothing has been printed, right, and they're in the design phase. That would be really helpful to whatever the second most commonly spoken languages in the district would be helpful to have while, we're still able to weigh in on that point and not having to change it after the fact. But I don't have any other questions for you. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think you already know this, Commissioner Caloza, but I'll just add it for the record. The contract indicates, the contract we're extending, that the total cost is $858,000 for the whole project, with $639,000 for the development and delivery of up to 15 of the historical stations. But it doesn't tell us how much the guidebooks cost. That's what's not broken out in there. I looked through to see if I could do some subtraction to figure it out, and you can't.
Right.
We don't. The contract doesn't break it down that way. So that is helpful information. You might just email it to us.
Yeah, I can send that information. Like I said, we've done previous guidebooks, so we have invoices that we could break that cost out.
Okay. I'm gonna bet it's about $140,000. We'll see. So is that a motion, Commissioner Villegas? I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Thank you, sir. Any issue sending number 3 forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith. I think that takes us, we've cleared all the voting items, correct, Mr. Knight?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, that moves us to our oral report, which is agenda item number 7, our construction services contract update from Mr. Cirillo.
Good morning. Mike
Morning.
Cirillo with the Bureau of Engineering. I have a handout going around, so I'll wait a second till you. Do you guys all have it yet? Or, no, not yet. Okay. So I'm going to be giving 2 updates today on Cisco, a Cisco 10 update and a Cisco 11 update. So I'll start out just by giving you a little brief introduction about Cisco. So Cisco stands for Construction Services Contract. And it's something that the Bureau of Engineering has been using for approximately 20 years. And it's a useful tool to deliver expedited wastewater treatment plant projects that aren't necessarily emergencies, but just are urgent necessity and relatively small, typically in dollar value. We try to stay somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million tops for Cisco. And we've been effective in implementing Cisco over the last 20 years, and I think the Bureau of Sanitation appreciates the responsiveness that Cisco provides to the wastewater program. I just also want to put it in perspective. It's a $15 million contract over 3 years, and that's about 1.7% of our capital budget. So although it sounds like a lot of money compared to the overall capital program, it's really not. So the majority of our work is design, bid, build, as you know. This is just another tool in the toolbox for us to use in delivering projects. So if you start with the one that's highlighted in yellow, please, the one that says Cisco 10 on it, I will start with that one first. And this is our older Cisco of the two. This Cisco contract was, notice to proceed was in 2018. So this one expires in April of 2021. So we do have a little bit of time left on this contract. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of money. We've exhausted all the wastewater funding on this contract, essentially. There might be a little bit left, but really not much. But if you recall, maybe in the past few weeks, there was a motion that came to board to actually do a bridge home, one of the CD14 bridge home projects. So we're actually going to do it under this Cisco contract. So you see we've increased the ceiling of this contract to a little over $17 million, because that includes about $2.1 million worth of bridge home work. All the wastewater funding was already, as I mentioned, pretty much exhausted. So this is just going to be the vehicle to deliver that last project. I have confirmed with the contractor, Murray, that they will be able to utilize some SBE and MBE sub-consultants on the bridge home project. So that should help our numbers improve even further. I think the numbers look pretty good already. But the good news is we can probably even bump them up a little bit more when we get into that next scope of work. So, so this contract, we're not intending on adding any more money to it for wastewater. We're simply going to just run the time out and finish all the remaining scopes of work, and then this contract will close in April of 21. The next contract, then there's a breakdown. That's the third page that's attached to this. This is all the detailed scopes of work that were issued under this Cisco. Happy to answer any questions if you have here, but I wasn't planning on going through this lengthy list of projects. So if you go to the next one, this is the Cisco 11, the green highlighted one. This is our really current and active Cisco that we're utilizing for wastewater. Again, this is Murray Company as well. This was recently, notice to proceed for this contract was issued in September of 2019, so it's fairly new. And we're only about 16% into the time as well as the money. About 16% is what we show expended to date. I know our MBE, WB, SB, and EBE and DVB utilization numbers don't look good. So I want to give you some positive spin on that. So if you look under new projects listed on that first page, over $150,000, that's about $3 million worth of work identified there. And I've already probed into those projects and looked to see if there's opportunities to bring in some sub-consultant utilization, and the answer is yes. We are going to be able to improve on these numbers as we award that $3 million worth of work that's listed here, and I think we can pretty much gain traction in all categories. Staff is well aware that utilizing subs is a priority to this board and to me, so they got the message, and the contractors got the message as well. So I think at the next report, you'll see these numbers come up substantially. So again, the third sheet on this one, there's only about 6 projects listed because, again, it's a fairly new Cisco contract, and we have a long way to go with respect to the timing on this. So that's really all I wanted to report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Well, Mr. Cirillo, how often do you give us these Cisco reports?
Every quarter?
Well, this might be your last one.
It might be.
I'm disappointed to have to mention, since it's quarterly.
Yes.
So, in all these reports you've given, I think this one's so well done you don't have a single question. So, what a way to have your last Cisco report. Although I would say that maybe we'll have a chance to talk about this later as we move forward. We've talked a little bit about this before. Changing the acronym away from Cisco because people think that they're the contractor. It's a company called Cisco.
Or computer company or something.
Right.
Right. Costco.
Well, we talked about Costco too, and maybe we'll move away from
So yeah, when we get ready to advertise for Cisco 12, we can have those discussions about what would be the best name for this contract.
The oral report will be received, sir.
Thank you.
And Mr. Knight, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, that's correct.
And we are adjourned. Oh, we have one more item?
Yeah,
Commissioner
this is very brief. I just want to, it's been at least 1 week since the occurrence, the unfortunate situation of the passing of Kobe Bryant, who is one of our great Los Angeles Lakers, who had retired and certainly had his family out in Orange County. I think, in fact, a week from yesterday, I happened to be in the office briefly when I got the word of the helicopter crash and the unfortunate situation. So I think it's appropriate. I know that the City Council has made some mention, but I think it's appropriate that here on the Board of Public Works, of all the work that we do from various facilities, including the work that we do down at the LA Live complex, often we are reminded of our relationship with the athletic teams in general and the Lakers in particular. So I think as we adjourn today, I'd like to adjourn this meeting in the memory of the late and great Laker, Kobe Bryant.
Thank you. We will be so adjourned.